morning, Malacañang Press Corps and guest. Welcome sa press briefing ni Presidential Spokesperson Ernesto Abella.
Good morning. Our guest for today is no stranger to us. Labor Secretary Silvestre Bello III is the government's chief negotiator for the ongoing peace talks with the CPP, NPA, and DF. He is a lawyer, human rights advocate, and public servant. He will discuss the fourth round of peace talks, which will take place from April 2 to 6 in the Netherlands, and what is expected outcome and how to go about it. Members of the Malacañang Press Corps, please welcome Secretary Bello.
Thank you, Sec. Ernie, our dear friends in media. The government panel is prepared to hold the fourth round of talks, again with the New Democratic Front, this time in the Netherlands, and this will be on April 2 to 6. The panel will continue to traverse the road to peace, despite its humps and bumps and curves, in order to bring about an enduring peace and to unite our people for nation building. We continue to be steadfast in our efforts and resolute on our purpose in putting a closure to the armed conflict. We owe this to our people. Our millennials deserve it. The agenda for this round is to further what we have started during the past 3 rounds of talks. Mostly, the discussion will be on socio-economic reforms, which we call the heart and soul of the peace process, which is intended to address the root causes of the armed conflict. And more importantly, we will discuss and hope to arrive at a consensus on a bilateral ceasefire to end the hostilities on the ground. We expect the discussion in this round of talks to be very, very, very difficult and exacting. But we shall be persistent in advancing the cause of peace, as inspired by our President's determination to unite our people. The President has walked an extra mile for peace, and with the initiatives he has taken, the table is laid for achieving a just, inclusive, and lasting peace in our country. Given this, we hope to enlist the support of everyone, especially our friends in media, to the peace process. As our peace partners in this journey to peace, we are confident that we can achieve the peace that we are all aspiring for. Now I am open to inquiries.
I'm sorry. Laila Salaveria, Inquirer. Hannah, please, microphone.
Good morning, sir.
Morning.
Sir, will the government also declare a unilateral ceasefire before the peace talks? Because the NPA's unilateral ceasefire is expected to take effect anytime.
Right now, there is no reason to declare a unilateral ceasefire because our president is more interested in obtaining a bilateral ceasefire agreement.
So you don't see this, you don't see this, the government's refusal to declare a unilateral ceasefire, you don't see this as an obstacle to the peace talks?
I don't think so because, as a matter of fact, the first agenda item that we will tackle, or starting April 2, will be the issue of bilateral ceasefire agreement. So, very close I think we should concentrate more on this more important agreement, because this is where we will be assured of the lowering or ending of hostilities. At the same time, we are assured of the parameters and the terms of reference of the agreement. Kaya mas importante yon, mas mahalaga po yon.
Thank you.
Pia Ranyada, to be followed by Cedric.
Sir, how has the NDF responded to the conditions presented by President Duterte? For example, he is requiring them to stop the revolutionary tax.
I don't think that the President has ever imposed that as a condition.
So
He
he
only
has.
mentioned this as a possible term in the bilateral ceasefire agreement. Kasi the President is aware that in these talks we are governed by the Hague Joint Declaration. That is, we conduct the peace negotiation without any precondition. Kaya kung minsan nagsasabi kayo na, pag hindi Europe palayain yung kanilang mga political prisoners, hindi matutuloy ng talks. That is not allowed under our framework.
Sir, do you think that the bilateral ceasefire agreement can be a product of the fourth round, or that's not likely?
Hopefully, because it will be the first item of our agenda. And we have already an exchange of drafts as to the terms and conditions and parameters of the agreement. Pag-uusapan dyan yung mga maseselan na bagay like the definition of buffer zones, the definition of magugustuhan nyo ito, yung collection of revolutionary tax. Yan. Mga mapapag-usapan yan. And then very important din dyan sa bilateral ceasefire agreement is the choice of the referee. We were for a while under the impression that our third-party facilitator, the Royal Norwegian government, would be willing to be the referee. But I think they are mindful of what happened in the Park Columbia peace process where they volunteered to be the referee. Mukhang hindi naging maganda experience nila. So I think they're thinking of other countries who are also interested to be part of the ceasefire agreement. There were some countries already mentioned are willing and in a very position to act as our referee.
Sir, which countries are these?
Well, na-mention yung Switzerland, Canada, Australia. Maraming gusto.
Sir, if is it right to say, sir, that the bilateral ceasefire agreement is targeted to be finished by the fourth round of talks is over?
Yes.
And sir, if that's the case, can we expect President Duterte to somehow participate or make a call? Because he said he would try to join in if there's a significant progress done in the talks. Can we expect?
I will not discount that.
Okay, thank you, Cedric, to be followed by Roscos.
Sir, dun sa March 11 joint statement, na-mention ulit yung political prisoners as listed by the NDFP. I believe ito po yung 400. So, ano yun, sir? Kung demand pa rin siya ng NDFP, paano makakausad, sir, yung peace talks po? Kasi I understand, yun yung naging tricky element noon sa, nung pinakolapsan niya.
Alam mo yung release of political prisoners on their part and release of mga hostages nila on our part, these are only what we call confidence-building measures to show the sincerity of the parties in the talks. Pero they can never be a condition to the conduct of the peace process. At saka, alam mo yung tungkol sa releases, you have to realize that the President's power in this issue of releases is not as omnipotent, no? Kasi like, for example, if one of the political prisoners whom they would like to be released is still facing trial, the President cannot pardon the political prisoner. He has to go through the judicial process where the lawyer will file for a motion for bail, and the court, upon consultation with prosecution, will allow bail. So, mahabang proseso yan eh. And you are not talking of prisoners all in Metro Manila. Meron prisoners in Northern Samar, meron in Davao, meron sa Compostela province. So, mahabang proseso yan. And we have been telling them, I'm sure they know that that we have been exerting our effort to address their concern about the political prisoners. And they also know that we are passing through a judicial process.
May indication ba, sir, na medyo nagsusoften sa ganitong demand or sa condition ang NDFP or adamant pa rin sila na hingin pa rin nila itong 400 prisoners na ito, sir?
I would not say na adamant sila. They are just, dedicated sila, but they also understand the process. In fact, last night they were at the airport, and one of the consultants who was recently arrested and then released subsequently, hindi payagan ng immigration na umalis kasi walang clearance. Yung tawag nilang ADO, yung departure order. So, very enterprising si Attorney Edre, one of their lawyers. He called me na nandito na kami sa immigration, hindi pinapayagan si Mr. Arbitrario na makalis. Please do something. So I called up Secretary Aguirre, and Secretary Aguirre called whoever is the immigration. After a while, I received a thank you message from Attorney Edre. So alam nila yan na, but in the negotiation, you have to learn the art of negotiating. When you negotiate, you ask for the maximum. And you will even settle for less than minimum. Like during the time of President Ramos, they would ask for the release of 100 prisoners. When the President releases 2, happy na sila. Ganon ang art of negotiation.
Thank you, sir.
Tumatawa sila.
Roscos, to be followed by Hannah, Bombo, and the Hati, birthday boy Benji.
Good morning po, Secretary.
Good morning, ma'am.
Opo. Clarify lang po, yung terms of reference sa bilateral ceasefire agreement draft is tapos na. Tama po.
Tapos na sa amin, tapos na rin sa kanila, at I understand the rest already been an exchange of draft.
Ano po yung nakikita nyo po na pinakamagkakaroon ng difficulty sa pag-come up ng agreement dun po sa terms of reference?
Alam mo, expertise ito ng mga members ng ceasefire committee, no? Ito, puro mga general at colonel, eh. Pero I can guess na ang pinakamahirap dyan is yung issue of revolutionary tax at saka yung buffer zones. To define yung buffer zone. Alam niyo yung buffer zone dyan kung saan hanggang pwede yung pwersa nila at yung pwersa natin. Yun ang mga very sensitive issues.
Pwede ko rin po kunin po yung inyo pong side regarding po sa anytime po magde-declare ng unilateral ceasefire ang CPP para po ipakita yung kanilang pagsuporta sa peace talks. Pero before that, may order po ang CPP sa grounds na intensify yung kanilang warfare, intensify yung kanilang recruitment, and ngayong linggo po pinapakita nila yung kanilang puwersa, visibility, maging dito po sa Metro Manila.
Well, that's the reality. We are in state of armed conflict, and that's the reason why we are talking to end this armed conflict. Realidad yan eh. Saka yung mga posturing nila na ganyan, understandable yan. Part of their propaganda. If you saw the pictures, puro magagandang militia girls ang nandun, di ba? But you should don't underestimate those militia girls, no? They are well trained, and they are most of them are UP students.
How do we explain to the public na willingness to na magkaroon ng pangmatagalang kapayapaan sa bansa na pinapakita nila yung puwersa po nila and pinalalakas nila yung kanilang armed component, sir?
Siyempre, we are in a negotiation. When you negotiate, you must negotiate from a position of strength. Kaya pinapakita nila na mayroon silang lakas na dapat silang kausapin. Kasi kung wala silang pinakita ng ganung lakas, hindi na natin sila kakausapin.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you, Rose. Hannah?
Good morning, Secretary.
Morning,
Sir,
ma'am.
Sino po yung makakasama niyo sa fourth round sa government at counterparts din natin at ninyo sa NDF po na pupunta sa Netherlands?
Sa panel namin, we still have, as my members, former Secretary Nani Braganza, former Commissioner Rene Sarmiento, former Regional State Prosecutor Antonio Arellano, and a barangay chairperson, Attorney Angging Librado, the only female, but who is the most belligerent in the in the panel, Attorney Librado.
Hindi na po kasama si na Mayor,
Sino?
Quezon City Mayor Bautista.
Mayor
Bautista.
Mayor Bautista Herbert of Quezon City is one of our advisors,
So,
together
kasama
with
siya,
Mayor Ed Pamintuan, who represent the local government. We also have other advisors, like for example, from the Senate, we have Senate President Coco Pimentel, and then from Congress, we have Speaker Bebot Alvarez, and we have, in fact, observers from Congress. This is headed by the chairperson of the Committee on Peace and Reconciliation, Congresswoman Ruby Tan Sahali, with other congressmen like Congressman Sagdalan, Congressman Deputy Speaker by Sandra, ano pa ang apelido ni Kwan? By Sandra, Sema, right. Oo. So, meron kaming advisors from the 3 branches of government.
Sir, ano po dong assurance, sir? Pinapatanong lang po na hindi parang junket po yung mga kasama niyo po doon sa Netherlands, na may role po talaga sila sa peace talks at
Yeah.
hindi po sila nagbabakasyon kasama ninyo sa Netherlands po.
We made sure that anybody who goes there should have some work to do. And not just work, sensitive work. In fact, nagkaroon nga kami ng mahabang diskusyon dyan eh. Kasi gusto nila dadamihan pa, especially on the issue of ceasefire. Humihingi sa akin si Secretary Braganza na kailangan namin mas marami. Sabi ko, pagtyagaan mo na si Pancho Lara, who is the local representative of International Alert. Expert yan. So sabi ko, tama na yan, kako, mahirap yung masyadong marami. And then, of course, we are going to discuss CASER now. You know, when we discuss CASER, I just mentioned that to Secretary Ernie that the CASER is the heart and soul of the peace process. If we resolve this, we can almost say that we have achieved peace. Kasi dito mo pag-uusapan yung mga dahilan kung bakit tayo nag-away. Social justice, extreme poverty of the people, corruption in government, injustice to our people. Itong pag-usapan eh. And we will strive to address these issues to eliminate them in our society.
Okay, thank you, Hannah. Raymond Tinasa, Catherine, paabot ng microphone. Nasa tabi mo, may isa pa. Thank you. Pakibigay kay Benji.
Hi, sir. Good morning.
Ay, lakay.
Abo.
Dito
Sir,
ko pa. Nandito ko pa.
dito ka pa rin, sir. Eh.
Okay.
Sir, itanong ko lang, what could be the guidance sa militar kung hindi tayo magdeklara ng ceasefire version ng government and pending the bilateral ceasefire agreement? So would it be on a defensive or offensive mode while you are doing the talking with your counterparts sa Netherlands?
Right now, since there is no declaration of unilateral ceasefire from the part of government, kailangan normal ang kanilang operation. Normal. They have to do their work as protectors of our people, maintain peace and order, ganun lahat yan. Wala munang mga activities beyond that.
Sir, last point. Sir, are you really confident? Do you believe na you could actually convince the Communist Party to stop collecting revolutionary taxes, considering their hardline position that it is a legitimate
Source.
on their end, source of their fund?
Yeah, we are aware of that. Alam naman natin na siyempre pag hininto yan, gugutumin sila. Pero meron ding merong ways of addressing that.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. Birthday boy, the Hati of MPC.
Ay, Benji.
Benji Liwanag.
Also, magkasama pa kami sa kwan eh. 1986 pa.
DOJ.
Hindi naman. Cory
na tayo, sir.
Cory.
Okay.
Yung mga kasamaan mo, nawala na yata sila, no?
Ang mga ano na sila, sir.
Si Nes Barameda. Buhay pa, wala na?
Wala na, sir.
Wala na.
Wala
oh.
na po.
Yung girlfriend niya, si...
Baby C.
Ha?
Si Baby C, sir.
Ano? Iba pa lang girlfriend ang kilala mo.
Hindi, iba. Kaibigan niya matalik yan.
kaibigan.
Okay. Sir, did the NDP assured the government peace panel na hindi na mauulit yung mga pananalakay ng NPA like panununog ng mga equipments intended for government projects at saka yung iba pa. Tapos 2 days, kanina, merong lumusob na NPA, believed to be supporters of NPA. Marami po silang pagkilos dito sa Metro Manila. What do you intend to do with this on the part of the government?
Well, as I was saying, the reality is that there is a state of armed conflict. So incidents like that should be expected. Now, unless a unilateral ceasefire is declared by them, we should expect incidents like that to happen, even while talks are ongoing. Pero sabi ko nga, that is the tactical value of the peace process. Na habang nag-uusap kayo, the level of violence is naturally expected to go down. Yun. Yun ang tactical value of the peace process. And I don't know if I already mentioned to you the strategic value of the peace process. Dahil alam nyo, yung peace in our country will not be obtained by the signing of a final peace agreement. O, kahit na 10,000 peace agreement ang pipirma natin, hanggat nandyan yung dahilan kung bakit tayo nag-away, tuloy pa rin ang kaguluhan. Pero yun na ang value ng ating pag-uusap. Na habang nag-uusap tayo, natatalakay natin kung bakit tayo nag-away. O, ang one of the causes, for example, is extreme poverty. And that will be addressed on the issue of socio-economic reforms when we talk about genuine land reform. When we talk about social justice, when we talk about national industrialization, ma-address yung issue of poverty. When we talk about, for example, reforms like the one being strongly advocated by President Duterte about the eradication of corruption in government, ang laking bagay yan eh. Kasi one of the main causes of the armed conflicts is corruption in government. Oh. And then, of course, the issue of injustice. Pagka may injustice pa rin, and people, especially our poor and helpless countrymen, still feel that justice is only for the rich and the powerful, kahit na ilang peace agreement ng lalagdaan, nandiyan pa rin ang kaguluhan. Kaya importante yung peace process na para habang nag-uusap tayo ay nakakagawa tayo ng reforma na maaring magiging dahilan ng pagkawala ng mga root causes na yan.
Sir, last week naka-meeting ninyong Pangulo. Meron ba siyang mabigat na message for the government peace panel?
Well, isa lang ang marching order niya, get me a ceasefire agreement.
That's it. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Dexter Ganibe, DCMM.
Hi, Sec. Magandang tanghali.
Tanghali na ba? Oo nga.
Sec, kumusta po ang tawag doon, ang pagtugon ng Department of Labor and Employment sa issue ng direct hiring ng mga OFW abroad?
Yung direct hiring. Alam mo yan, ang isang problema ko, no? Kagabi lang, there were about, I think, 8 ladies who were literally crying that I should sign yung kanilang OEC. Pero alam mo kasi, marami akong naririnig na gawain doon sa POEA na kahit hindi ka qualified, pag nangotong ka, nagbigay ka ng amount, ilalagay lang pangalan mo doon. Kahit alam nila na madi-disqualify ka. Dahil you do not fall under the exemptions where you are allowed direct hiring. So, pagpunta sa akin siyempre, sir, yung aeroplano ko, alis na mamayang alas 9 ng gabi, pakipirma naman, hindi naman qualified. Pero, alam mo, yung Sinabihan ko sila, alam nyo, kako, pag nagsabi kayo sa akin na magkano binayad doon sa mga nangotong sa inyo, baka papirmahan ko. O, ako. Pero in the meantime, I will have to investigate this group in the department, in the Philippine Overseas Employment Administration. Maraming ganyan eh.
Sir,
Kaya ini-istiktuhan ko.
sa tingin niyo, sir, gaano na yung extent ng problem nitong direct hiring? Kasi
Malaki.
binabanggit, sir, nagsimula daw ito nung lumuwag yung POEA doon sa pagbibigay ng Overseas Certificate of Employment o yung...
Malaki yan,
O-
malaki
OC.
na, malaki. That's why, pagbalik ko, yan ang una kong atupagin. I will revamp the organizational structure of POEA. Babalasahin ko yung mga nangungutong doon. I already have names. Kung sino yung mga nangungutong.
Okay, sir. Last na lang. Paalala niyo po sa mga Pilipino na OFW na may kumukuha for direct hiring or...
Sinasabi ko naman sa kanila eh. Sinasabi ko sa kanila. Although, generally, I would discourage yung direct hiring na mga, we call them now household service workers. Ayaw na namin gamitin yung domestic helpers. Masama na ngayon ang connotation yan. So, sinasabi ko dun sa mga na be strict on yung mga household workers. Pero yung mga like for example, may dumating sa akin na artist, magiging artist doon sa Malaysia. Sabi ko, bakit hindi ka maging artist dito sa Pilipinas? Sabi niya, hindi naman appreciated ang talent ko. Sabi niya, okay then, go. Pero kung household helper na, medyo ini-istiktoan ko talaga. Pero we try as much possible, try to limit kasi yung na meron na akong na-perceive na anong bang tawag dyan? Grupo yan may grupo yan na pinapalabas nila na direct hire pero actually mga illegal recruiters na yan.
Sir, last na lang, balik ako doon sa peace talks. Sir, nabanggit nyo kanina na may nagka-problema doon sa isa sa mga consultant na paalis ng bansa kagabi.
Si arbitraryo.
Kumusta po yung kasi 'di ba nung pinatigil ng pangulo pinabawi niya yung yung JASIG. I mean may pinalabas siya. Paano po yun ngayon? Yung mga consultant ng NDF, paano po sila makakalabas ulit ng bansa?
Well, when the president terminated, going back to that, when he terminated the peace talks, 30 days after that, JASIG was also terminated. So, wala na yung free and unhampered movement in the country. So, pwede silang arrestin. Pero with the restatement of the talks again, na-reinstate din ang effectivity of the JASIG. Kaya covered na naman sila ng JASIG.
Sir, kailan po effective yung JASIG ulit, sir?
Immediately. That's why they filed again motion for bail. Ayan, allowed na naman sila.
Thank you po.
Piranyada.
Sir, this is a question from our labor reporter. Sir, we learned that you have 3 labor attaches who are relatives of Sec Dureza and Sec Teo and also your niece. They will be deployed to US, Canada, and Rome. What was the basis of their appointment, sir?
Who?
Sir, you have relatives, Ropo, who are relatives of Sec Dureza, Sec Teo, and also your niece who you've appointed as labor attaches. Can you confirm this, sir? And if ever, why were they appointed? What was the basis?
The niece, nephew of Secretary Dureza is a very qualified person. But then, unfortunately, I think his deployment was rejected. And that was probably my mistake. Because I did not know that he was also a dual citizen. Nalaman nila na dual citizen siya. And I think, out of decency, I heard he resigned. He did not accept the position. Now, yung you're referring to probably Siglot. Siglot is not my relative. She is, I think, a distant relative of my wife. But she is not only a nurse, she is also a lawyer. She passed the examinations with honors.
Sir, follow-up. Sir, how about, sir, yung required na there should be 2 years of service before a department deploys them to these kinds of positions? Is
They
that
should
still
be-
2 years of service in the department?
There's no requirement like that.
Okay po.
Yeah, oo.
Ano po yung standing rules regarding deployment of labor attaches right now?
Depending on the necessity of the situation. Like for example, ordinarily it's POLO. POLO means Philippine Overseas Labor Office is entitled to 1 labor attaché. But depending on the number of OFWs, I can increase the number of labor attachés. Like for example, in Riyadh, we have almost, I think, 500,000 OFWs doon. So, while they deserve only under the policy, they are entitled to only 1 labor attaché, I increase it by, I think, 3. Because there is need to attend to the needs of our OFWs in the Middle East. Kasi alam niyo naman, ang dami kayo naririnig na mga maltrato ng mga kababayan natin. In fact, if you recall, that was as early as August of last year, we had a problem of about 11,000 of our overseas workers who were stranded for more than a year in Saudi Arabia, more than 1 year. They were stranded there. They were not paid their salaries. They were not paid their end of services. And they were stranded there. When I found out about that, I went there I immediately went there and brought them financial assistance. And fortunately, the king of Saudi Arabia, King Salma, offered to defray their expense in flying back to our country.
Sir, sorry to interrupt, because just on the issue, because the labor attaches you supposedly appointed are not appointed in Riyadh naman, they're appointed in US, Canada, and Rome. So are you saying there was also a need to appoint these in these 3 countries?
Yeah, there was. As a matter of fact, the guy whom I appointed, there was a replacement of a labor attaché, Saul Debris, whom I reassigned to Singapore.
Okay.
And then in Toronto, I assigned another girl there. Unfortunately, also, she was found to have dual citizenship. So, again, mawawala na naman yun. So, we have to look for other labor attachés now whom we can deploy in Toronto because there is an increasing number of caregivers in Canada. Ang dami. Oh, they come in batches. Oh.
Okay, thank you,
Okay.
Pia. Last 2 questions, Secretary Cedric and then Elijah of Business Mirror.
Sir, tanong ko lang tanong ko
yes.
lang baka may info kayo anong oras i-declare yung unilateral ceasefire? Kasi 31 na po ngayon ng NDFP, sir. May info kayo anong oras?
You mean unilateral ceasefire by the NDF?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I don't think they will declare if we will not declare. Because in fairness, the chairman of the NDF panel has been asking me that we should jointly declare a unilateral ceasefire. But if they feel that we are not prepared to declare one, then I don't think they will proceed with the declaration of a unilateral ceasefire.
Pero sir, sinabi nila, di ba, before the 31st, which is today, magde-declare sila ng unilateral. Wala naman sila sinabi, sir, I don't remember having them saying na dapat meron din ng government.
Yeah, that's between Chairman Fidel Agcawili and myself. In fact, as early as March 28, on the occasion ng kanilang yung kanilang anibersaryo. Pero sabi ko, still under study.
And since you said, sir, earlier na hindi magde-declare ng unilateral ceasefire ang government, so we can expect na wala rin i-declare ang
Maring hindi sila na magde-declare.
Sir, may update
Still-
si Dex. Sorry, Dex.
Okay?
Still under study, sir, yung proclamation ng government ng
Under study
ceasefire.
pa yan.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you, sir.
Elijah? Microphone, please.
Sir, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
2 questions lang, sir. First, on the peace talks.
Yes.
How is the government responding to the primary agendas ng kaser ng NDFP, agrarian reform, yung sa regarding sa employment, regarding sa industrialization, etc.
You will be surprised on the issue of agrarian reform. We commission the College of Economics. Economics ba yun? Yeah, I think of Economics of the University of the Philippines. We commissioned them to draft our government position on socio-economic reforms, which includes yung genuine land reform. Yun ang hinihingi nila, genuine land reform. So we are prepared, solidly prepared for that. Imagine harnessing the the talents of UP, who are not only known to be brilliant, but they are also to be left-leaning. Yeah, so we are prepared for that.
And last, sir, may update na po ba tayo regarding sa proposed 125 pesos across the board wage hike na sinimula nating pag-aralan noong September last year?
Alam mo yung yung increase ng national minimum wage is not within the authority of Department of Labor. Ang amin is we live by what we have right now, the Regional Wage Board. They are the board that continuously assess the economic situation in the respective areas of responsibility. And it is they who make recommendation on the adjustment of the salaries within the region. Pero pagdating ng minimum wage, national minimum wage, it's Congress that determines this.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Okay,
Elijah.
thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you very
Malacañang
much.
Fresco.
Thank you,
Thank you, DOLE Secretary
Di ka nagtanong
Silvestre Bello III.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you,
Presidential
thank you.
Spokesperson Ernesto Abella.
Thank you, Secretary. Thank you. Ha? Meron akong speaking pa. Okay, speaking. Okay.
Okay, thank you, sir.
All right. I'd like to greet Benji Liwanag. Happy birthday, along with Miss Chona Yu. It is Chona. And of course, Sec. Juni Vasco and the President. Some updates. MasterCard study on the Filipino consumers' well-being. We welcomed the November-December 2016 survey of MasterCard Well-Being Index, which showed that the Philippines ranked number 2 in terms of consumers' overall well-being among countries in the Asia-Pacific. The Philippines got the overall score of 73 on the survey, which covered the following: work and finances, safety from threats, personal and work satisfaction, and personal well-being. This apparently shows that the Duterte administration will continue to work hard in providing financial security and more work opportunities to allow every Filipino to develop their own potential and to achieve personal satisfaction. Also, the Fitch report. Fitch.
Fitch ratings.
The Fitch report on the investment grade rating of the Philippines. A global leader in credit ratings and research, Fitch Ratings has given an investment grade of BBB- or good credit quality on the Philippines' capacity to pay for its financial commitments due to the constant drive of the Duterte administration to improve the country's economic growth. This means that the Philippines is able to enter a bigger market for debt offerings, and international lenders can be confident in offering loans to the Philippines. Fitch also noted the Philippines' strong economic growth, external creditor position, and low debt levels. The Philippines could join the global market without much cost. Also, Moody's. On Moody's 6.5% forecast on the Philippine GDP, despite the political noise, the global debt watcher Moody's Investor Service stated that this year's Philippine gross domestic product is expected to reach 6.5% by maintaining domestic demand, which includes increasing government expenditures and attracting more foreign direct investments. It also reported that the Philippine economy has a very low chance of stagnating. Also, today, for women from most sectors, indigenous, urban poor, women with disability, women sectoral leaders from 82 provinces and 144 cities, and OFW representatives, today will be the culminating activity for the President to spend time with ordinary women who have contributed to nation building. We are now open to a few questions. Yes, Ms.
Pia
Wan.
Rañada, Rappler. Pia, sa unahan. Thank you.
Sir, yesterday the President again made light of extramarital affairs of his appointees, mga kabet and girlfriends. But when he talks about Laila de Lima, Senator Laila de Lima, and her affair with her driver, he calls it immorality. So, sir, why the double standard?
Come again?
Why the double standard coming from the President?
I think it's not a question of being double standard. The fact remains that the relationship of the senator has something to do with the crime with which she has been accused of. There seems to be quite a connection. So it's not a question of morality so much as there is an implication that this particular relationship was part of her, part of the what do you call it? Her extra, what do you call it?
But sir, the President always also zeroes in on that particular issue, separate from the drug charges. He calls the specific affair as immoral. So why is it that he makes fun of affairs when it's men, but he condemns women if the same crime or sin is committed by a woman?
I don't think it's being
Women's
gender
Month.
specific. I don't think it's being gender specific. I think that's framing it differently. Thank you. Next question.
Sir, what is the palace state official position on extramarital affairs? I'm asking this because it's Women's Month, and this is an issue for women.
Come again?
This is an issue for women.
I don't think there's a specific statement regarding these matters. I think these matters are left mainly to personal morality
But sir, the President talks about it in national television.
because it involves a public figure. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Pia. Laila Salaveria. Microphone, please.
Sir, going back to the fight between Speaker Alvarez and Congressman Florendo,
Yes, ma'am.
Morality issues aside, how does the palace view their feud? Is there a concern that this might affect the legislative agenda of the president?
Well, let's put it this way. This is a personal matter between two men, and I think the palace will allow them to settle it privately between themselves.
But there's also an allegation of questionable deals coming from Speaker Alvarez.
In which case, it should be made formal. There should be due process regarding those things.
But will there be any advice from the palace or any interference from the palace?
Interference, no. But it's a matter that they should settle between themselves.
Okay, thank you. Other issue,
other-
Laila.
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, yesterday the president aired his anger at the Inquirer and ABS-CBN. Sir, is he going to take any further action? I mean, if he's complaining about a specific report, is he going to file a complaint to do something about what displeased him?
I don't think he'll be filing a formal complaint, but I think what he complains about is a question of fairness in the sense that for example, some matters are framed in particular way that caricatures his situation or caricatures certain situations. For example, the way the war on drugs was framed as against a war versus the poor. It seems to imply that he is actually focusing on a particular class, which is hardly the point. But the way the media, that particular media, framed it, insinuates a particular bias, which leans towards malice.
Yeah, but sir, if he has a problem with that, why won't he take further action? I mean, other than
I mean, there
speaking
are matters there are more serious matters to be taken on.
Sir, with regard to ABS-CBN, will his anger at the Lopezes affect the reappointment of Secretary Gina Lopez as Environment Secretary?
I think those are two separate matters.
So there will be not. No.
There will be none. As far as we can see, he can be quite objective about these things, and he's able to compartmentalize certain matters.
We can expect her to be reappointed.
Well, if the president so sees fit, then he will.
Okay, thank you, Laila. Other issue, Cedric.
Sir?
Yes.
Good afternoon po. Sir, nung campaign pa lang sinasabi na ni President Duterte, then Mayor Duterte, yung bibigyan niya ng pardon yung mga pulis. Sorry sir, let me rephrase. Sinabi niya sir na meron siya mga preposterous statements, that's the term he used. Yung pagbibigay ng pardon sir sa mga pulis na mako-convict, would you consider that preposterous sir, or does he mean it?
Well, let's put it this. Let's frame it in a different way. Okay, his statement cannot, you cannot take it as a condemnation, as a blanket condemnation of criminal acts. It is a statement of a superior standing by his own directive regarding specific operations. It's not a blanket. It's not a blanket condemnation. So, on the other hand, the police who otherwise commit criminal acts are going to be under pain of investigation, but they will be entitled to their own due process. So, legal procedures would be strictly observed without presidential intervention.
To be categorical about it, sir, yung Superintendent Marcos et al., may naka-ready ba na pardon sa kanila in case ma-convict sila, sir?
That I don't know, but he did say that he will stand by them, right?
Pero pag na-convict po sila, sir?
Then we'll wait. We'll wait for that. We'll wait for the unfolding of the actual process.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Bombo, Raymond Tinasa.
So good afternoon.
Yes, sir.
So may mga lumabas, the last interview of Secretary Gina Lopez, umaalma siya na yung trabaho niya ay pinapapailan daw ni Finance Secretary Sani Dominguez. So ang sinasabi niya ay hindi naman daw siya ang boss ni Secretary Gina Lopez at dapat daw magpresidente muna siya. So ngayon, can you categorically say na who's really should Secretary Gina Lopez consider as boss at who's calling the shots? Secretary Dominguez or the President?
No, I think the question is framed wrongly. It's not a question of who's the boss of which, but the fact is there is a healthy debate between two cabinet secretaries who are engaged in finding out what is best for the public interest. So, but at the end of the day, of course it's the President who calls the final shots.
Yeah, kasi ang sentimento ng Secretary Gina Lopez, parang she's being headed over by Secretary Dominguez. Dapat daw, kung equal sila kasi pareho silang secretary, hindi daw dapat siya diktahan or pakialaman ng trabaho ng Secretary Dominguez.
But this is part of dynamics of a healthy relationship.
Sir, meron ding lumabas ngayon sa mga pahayagan na si Undersecretary Agabin ng Department of Finance supposedly ay tumatay yung lawyer ng mga mining groups o pro-miners na humarang dun sa confirmation ni Secretary Lopez. So, hindi ba ito parang conflict of interest kasi tao ni Secretary Dominguez yung mismong parang humaharang or tumutulong sa humaharang sa confirmation ni...
That's something that's subject to verification.
Okay, sir.
Okay, thank you. Raymond Tinasa Roscos, to be followed by Pia and Hannah.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Follow up lang po namin yun pong reappointment sa mga na-bypass na cabinet members, kung
Yes.
ano po ang update.
There are no updates at this stage.
Sir, wala po bang nalalabag na rules and regulations sa government since nag-recess po ang House tapos hindi po nag-issue ng reappointment ng President sa mga na-bypass po na cabinet members?
Wala po kami update patungkol dyan, but we can verify.
Okay,
Thank you,
thank
sir.
you, Rose. Pia Reñada.
Sir, may we just get an update on the meeting of the President with the state-owned companies of China, and which companies are these exactly?
I'll find out. Okay. Well, no, there were a number of companies that were here that came, but they're all part of. They're all showing interest. They all showed interest in investing in the Philippines, and they all showed interest in wanting to bid. However, they will still have to go to the usual accreditation by the Chinese National Development Commission. They will still have to be vetted by their own regulatory agency.
Sir, how does the Duterte administration ensure that we're not entering into a debt trap? Because some analysts are seeing that China has a strategy of getting developing countries into a debt trap, giving them loans that they can't pay, or requiring that Chinese workers be hired instead of local workers. What does what does the palace think, or what conditions might have the president set to ensure that the deals also favor the Philippines and not unduly favor China?
Let's put it this way, and this is just from observer status. It would be to the best interest of the PROC that they maintain friendly relationships and non-aggressive stance against the Philippines for their own interests. For their own from their own point of view, it is best to keep healthy, sound, fair, just relationships with the nation.
Okay, thank you, Pia. Last two questions, Hannah and Cedric. Microphone, please.
Sir, can I get your reaction sa sinabi po ni Senator Lacson na dapat wag po maging too confident ang PNP sa assurance ni Pangulong Duterte na pardon? Kung i-example dun nangyari kay Marcos, baka po matapos na yung termino ng Pangulo, hindi pa siya makakasuhan. So sino po yung magbibigay ng pardon sa kanya?
So you were saying?
Reaction po dun sa sinabi ni Senator Lacson.
Well, I think he also sees the other side of the coin. And I think the president is, like I said earlier, it is not a blanket condemnation of all criminal acts. It is simply that he will stand on the directives that he has given specifically for certain operations. So at the end of the day, basically what you're hearing is that the president is actually taking full responsibility for these matters.
Sir, last, may update
Yes.
na po sa EO ng no smoking po, ng smoking ban po.
Wala pa po.
Okay.
Wala po.
Okay, thank you, Hannah. Cedric, last question.
Sir, reaction po si Senator Trillanes may challenge po kay Pangulo na kasuhan na lang daw siya ng libel kung nagsisinungaling daw ang senador, sir.
Well, I would say first before I talk about that, the other thing that all this noise is being created, for example, by the Magdalo representative, seems to be orchestrated in a sense of, apparently he's also wanting to run for Senate to replace Trillanes.
No, sir.
No,
Senator,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that this, as part of the whole situation, I am saying that all this noise seems to be towards a particular situation. In other words, what I'm saying is that hindi naman natin kailangan patulan lahat ng mga ganyan, di ba? So nakikita natin, itong mga kaganapan to ay mukhang parang konektado sa isa't isa. So hayaan na po natin silang mag-ingay at sinasabi po natin, nakikita natin na mukhang meron din silang mga, tawag doon ay agenda.
Cedric?
sir, has it ever been considered, sir, kasuhan ng libel si Senator Trillanes? Kasi yun yung challenge po niya.
I don't know. It all depends on the president. But wala naman na pag-uusapan ganyan.
Sir, pahabol lang po, sir.
Yes,
Si dating Chair Ete Rosales, sinasabi niya, of course, hindi naman daw aamin ang government na sanction dito yung EJK, sir. Palace reaction, please, sir.
Sa totoo naman talaga, wala naman talagang state sanction na gano'n hindi ba? So, alam niya yun.
Okay.
So, yun na po yun.
Okay, thank you, Cedric. Thank you, Presidential Spokesperson Ernesto Abella. Thank you, Malacañang Press Corps. Back to our main studio sa Radyo ng Bayan at PTV.
Maraming salamat.